Lindsay Hoyle under pressure over Gaza vote as number 10 Brands MP's threats attack on democracy. Live. It's a crazy time to be alive, boys and girls, and by crazy, I mean side-splittingly hilarious. The comedy writes itself when you're living in 2024, because let's have a look at who was doing the threats, and then let's see who the MPs decided was the group that they should be really worried about. Rishi Sunak said it's unacceptable for protesters to demonstrate outside MPs' homes as Downing Street said protests must not turn into abuse. Ah yes, but who's doing it? It's simply unacceptable for intimidation or aggressive behaviour to threaten our parliamentary democracy and our freedom of expression. Yes, but who's doing it? We must give police more power to clamp down on intimidation and aggressive behaviour. Yes, but who's doing it? Intimidation against MPs is an attack on democracy, and we won't allow that to win. But who is doing it? James Cleverly also vowed to be vigilant against threats and pressure on MPs after Sir Lindsay Hoyle argued his actions in the Gaza ceasefire vote were motivated by concern about security. But who's doing it? Is the integrity of Parliament being destroyed by the Speaker? OK, so they won't tell us who's doing it. I wonder why. Let's see who wrote this story, shall we? Story by Namita Singh and Mariam Zakia Hussain. Ah, that's who's doing it. We got there in the end, eh? OK, this is brilliant, as you'd expect from the UK clown car. In fact, the UK is not just a clown car. The UK is the world's worst clown car, complete with wibbly-wobbly axle, glitter dispensing airbags and square wheels, and it's just wrapped itself round a tree. Look at this video and tell me, please reassure me that I'm not going completely tonto.
Freer said you can't divorce anti-Semitism from the threats and attacks he's faced. Do you agree with that framing? Is that the key risk and cause at the moment?
We've lots of risk and we've lots of people who don't. Whether it's people who are white fundamentalists, the people there, the rise of the extreme right, to terrorists coming across. We face many threats. And of course, the conflict in the Middle East has brought different people to the forefront. Of course, we've also seen that Joe Cox, it was the extreme right that tragically robbed us of somebody who had a great future in this house. The fact that we saw terrorists, lone wolves, who self-radicalise at home, taking, and tragically, David Amess was also taken from us. That's why I've got to work with whatever the threat is at the moment, working with security, working with the advice of the police and security agencies to try and ensure we are doing everything we can to protect the members, but also this about protecting democracy.
Honk, 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 honk. That's my only response to that. That is mental. David Amess. Oh yeah, he was killed by white nationalists, wasn't he? Who killed David Amess again? The murder of David Amess. On 15th of October 2021, David Amess, a member of Parliament for Southend West, was fatally stabbed at a constituency surgery. His killer was Ali Harbi Ali. Almost sounds like Anders Breivik, doesn't it? It's nearly there. A British something sympathiser. Yeah, right. Cheers then. So he couldn't bring himself to say the elephant in the room. And can I just point out, just so this is unequivocal, deaths linked to far-right white nationalists in the UK. Do you know what that death toll stands at for the last 10 years in the UK? Less than 10. Less than 10. Now, I'm not even going to use Wikipedia for this. I'm just going to use me noggin. We had Emily Jones stabbed by a regular at Allen's legendary snack bar. We had Lee Rigby getting an unscheduled surgical procedure thanks to the regulars at Allen's world famous snack bar. We had London Bridge 7-7. We had the Borough Market. What's the death toll at from that lot? Any idea? Seems like it's probably a bit higher. And on the continent, we had the Truck of Peace in Nice, squashing about 300 people like frogs. We had the Bataclan, which was a couple of hundred young people at a concert. We had Charlie Hebdo. We had Madrid train bombings. We've had explosions in Brussels and Berlin and anywhere else beginning with B, probably loads of them. And all of them weren't committed by far-right nationalists, but by practitioners of a different ideology that I can't say on this platform. I'll just give you a clue. it was founded by an epileptic midget who liked rogering a 9-year-old. We'll just leave it at that. If you know, you know. Well done, you've read some books. That was the most ludicrous piece of footage I've ever seen in my life. And the real reason there is a scandal, if you haven't paid attention, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the details, because it's now late on Friday and I'm assuming everybody in the UK has already read the story. But if you haven't, trust me, the reason there is a scandal in the UK is because practitioners of said ideology, not the white one, the Golden Bell End Church one, practitioners of that ideology intimidated the Speaker and other politicians into subverting parliamentary process, which has been in place for hundreds of years, with threats of extreme violence. Not extreme white national violence, extreme beardy weirdy violence, right? That's just a fact. So everything you watched there was lunacy. Absolute lunacy. It's like coming home from work, marching into your living room, seeing that the couch, the lazy boy, and the fitted kitchen are all on fire, and then proclaiming to the wife, if we don't sort them weeds out in the back garden, we're going to have a problem on our hands, love. Right? What are you talking about? There is a blazing inferno, and you're worrying about the weeds. That's the best analogy I can come up with these maniacs worrying about white nationalists in a country that saw a little blonde girl get a throat cut in the middle of a park by someone who wasn't a white nationalist, and a politician gets stabbed to death by someone who wasn't a white nationalist, and numerous terrorist attacks and explosions and double-deckers blowing up, and innocent women getting knifed in the face, and tens of thousands of little girls getting ragged all over above kebab shops over a period of decades while the police and the government covered it up. There's something amiss. There's definitely something amiss. But none of that took place thanks to the actions of Tommy McTavish, a ginger skinhead from Glasgow. That's not the problem. The problem is that other stuff that none of you maniacs want to talk about. But that's just what I think. If you think the real problem in this country is pasty shut-ins with not many friends, let me know. If you looked around the carnage at Borough Market and heard the squeals and the wails and the blood running in the streets, and you went, you know what? We mega need to sort out all these white people. I think you should book yourself in for a CAT scan. I mean, you probably can't get one on the NHS. Probably better off flying to the United States or maybe Brazil or somewhere and get yourself a CAT scan there. Because if you try and book one in the UK, you'll be on a 4-year waiting list behind the entire crew that hijacked them ships in Captain Phillips, Abu Hamza's 40 grandkids, and half the cast of Bend It Like Beckham. Alright, so try and get it abroad. But that's just what I think. If you disagree, have a pop in the comments. If you don't, feel free to have at it as well. I'll be streaming at 7 PM tomorrow, everybody, so please tune in, and I'll see you all then. Thanks for watching. See you very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.